Hello, welcome back to another episode of the RetroStation Podcast. I'm your host, Sammy Retro, and today we're talking all about Daredevil Born Again. But I'm not alone this time around, as you can clearly see. The person joining me is an excellent journalist and writer for comicbeats.com. His main pieces consist around comic book insights, the latest horror installments under the collection of Horror Beat, but also dabbles in fantasy and some wrestling from time to time. Would you say that? It's the wonderful Comics Jared, or...
Thank you.
Yeah, it's great. Now, we're going to get the score out of the way instantly. What do you think, out of 10, we can do decimals, is Daredevil Born Again Season 2 to you?
8 out of 10.
That is lower, that is higher than I thought you were going to give it, based on our previous interactions with it.
Yeah.
Why an initial 8?
So, I would, for context, I would have given the first season a 7. So I do think it's an improvement. I think there are problems built into the show itself that are kind of hard to, like, I think it could be the best writer. You could have the best writers that you could possibly hire, and even they would have a challenge at unraveling the problems that season 1 left the show with, in terms of just season 1 is this kind of stitched together thing. And season 2 does a great job at trying to make it more cohesive, more of a whole story with a whole arc. But there are some problems that, like, I literally don't think it's able to hit much higher than that, purely because of just problems built into the nature of the show.
Do you think that's, and then my follow-up question of, do you think that's the MCU, the Marvel side of it, or do you think it's because they were trying to continue on the Netflix show?
I think it's a bit of both, actually. I think that there are certain things that are MCU, like larger MCU issues in terms of like the long-term consequences of a 5-year time skip between Avengers Endgame and Infinity War. The generally, like, obviously removing the Netflix shows from canon and then trying to put them back in, but not really addressing what is and isn't canon until it comes up in the show. And then also just, I guess, built-in problems of trying to continue the Netflix show without showing much interest in continuing it. Like, I think the first season of the show isn't very interested in continuing the Netflix show. Born Again is. Yeah. But at that point, it's got so many other pieces that weren't there before that it's hard to be a true continuation, so to speak.
No, I fully agree with that. I think season 1, they were just trying to do something completely new. Then they fucked up on that regard and went, oh, okay, hold on. They like the Netflix show. We need to do something that's regarding it. And then this season, I think it's so well thought out. It wasn't just, let's put a cameo here from a character you know, or let's put in a storyline that you kind of know from season 1 of the Netflix show or anything like that. It's just, hey, we now care about the show because you care about the show. Yeah. And I think that is so wonderful when, especially showrunners at this level, they're the highest budgeted shows around. Yeah. They actually care about their fan base a little bit, because it's quite hard to do that. And in terms of Amazon Prime's like The Boys, I feel like they do not care about their fans because it's their final season. They are they are Wile and Coyote going at each other. It's just an endless chase of, oh, we need to praise the fans, but we need to make sure that we're not chasing too closely, because then we'll be considered to be the Netflix show. Yeah. Which then, it's kind of funny how episode 5 of this season is basically an episode from the Netflix show, and it's one of the best ones for the entire Born Again runtime. Yeah. It's incredible what they prove, and it kind of shows they could have done it, but they didn't.
Yeah. I mean, it's really interesting that it's an interesting dilemma that they put themselves in terms of like both continuing it and not continuing it, because I do think that although obviously in retrospect it got cancelled, the place where the Netflix show concludes is actually a really satisfying end spot. So I do think that a huge problem, and this might be, listen, all of my links are public. If you guys have any qualms with my opinions today, please email me. I love seeing the emails I get. But I actually think one of the biggest problems that Born Again has is Wilson Fisk, the Kingpin, because
Okay, this is something I was not expecting. I was expecting full praise from the man who's bold.
Because
yeah,
Vincent D'Onofrio is just as great as he's always been in the role. He's doing a really good job. I think that he's obviously a bit campier in Born Again. He gets to be a bit more because the show itself is less super serious.
Yes, I mean Hawkeye itself. He's full on silly cartoon villain with the Hawaiian shirt. Obviously, it's paying homage to the comics, but he's not the same. It's so weird.
That bit in the finale where he is full comic book Kingpin and he's like, boo. I love it.
Yeah, it's so good.
Yeah.
The blip of Echo, one of those shows that people will forget, and people have already forgotten that Echo even existed. But technically, it healed him, and the reason why in season 1 of Daredevil Born Again, he's much more calm in nature and less villainous than compared to this season. He's so like, Vanessa, you do the shady shit. I'm gonna just be mayor.
I think that the biggest problem that they have, though, is that the season 3 climax is the natural end point of Kingpin versus Daredevil. Like at that point in the Netflix show, it had been 2 full seasons with Wilson Fisk as the primary antagonist, and he pops up in season 2 as well. And it is a satisfying conclusion. Like, he literally is grabbing him saying, I beat you, like it is very much the end. Fisk goes to jail, right?
Yes.
And obviously, that's a great endpoint for a show. And what the plan was, as far as we public folks are aware, was that the show would move on to exploring other villains like Typhoid Mary and Bullseye and Miss Sophia. And that it would move away from the Kingpin for a while. But then obviously Born Again was built around the idea that we've got Vincent D'Onofrio back as the Kingpin, and we've got Charlie Cox back as Daredevil, and we need to put them in a show together again.
Yeah, it really does feel like, hey, these 2 characters are so beloved. No one else wants to ever be casted these characters. It feels like anytime I see any online debate, any online talk, it's, oh, I don't want anyone else to play these characters. Post Secret Wars, when we recast, they are 2 actors I don't want recasted. And I fully love that. But I think this also ties back to the initial issues of doing a Born Again. It's like you're saying, 2 characters that have kind of had their day, but they're like, hey, what if we just bring it back? But what if we just didn't do that and make it so different? And season 1's Frankenstein nature thankfully doesn't pull over to season 2, and the story is one cohesive piece that personally for me, the 8 out of 10 I agree with. It's a nice concrete story. I love what it shows, but I'm so ready for some new villains. I'm so ready for it. Yeah.
I think that it's an interesting dichotomy, because I think season 2 Kingpin is a stronger character and a better character. And obviously you get more inside his head and his kind of decaying mental state and stuff like that. But then I also think that by the end I was just, and it sucks to say this because I do think it is a perfect casting, but I was kind of tired of the Kingpin. It's like, okay, we're beating him again. We can't send him to jail because he got out twice, Like,
he did get out twice. I think it's amazing. But obviously the highlight, I think, this season for the episodes is like 4 and 5. The gloves and him letting go, and especially with Vanessa's death.
Yes.
That is a fixture in time. That is a canon event for this character, I feel like. And obviously, Into the Spider-Verse, that happens, but even more so here, and how it plays back to the first season of the show to now to recontextualize it all to a nice send-off for these characters. More than the finale, I would say. Their relationship is so cute, and Vincent D'Onofrio's performance, he gives this vulnerability that I have never seen yet. It is brand new territory, which is so surprising 5 seasons in. You feel like they've played the best records, but they haven't. And I love that for Vincent D'Onofrio to finally show that he can cry on screen. And it's genuine. It's not fake. It's not manipulative. It's genuine tears. And him getting rageful after her death is kind of not sympathetic, but not unfair.
Yeah.
At least to me.
It ties back to what makes him so compelling in the first season, right? is that he's such a compelling villain in the first season because he feels very human with, the idea that he killed his father because of the abuse and stuff like that. It's like, I can understand why you have become this man.
Yes.
And it's tapping back into that where it's like, anything you do from now, I can kind of understand where it's coming from. Even if it's not necessarily like sympathetic, you can definitely, there's like a clear logical through line of like, well, yeah, you're grieving and you're already slipping mental state wise. And the red one is back again, so
genuinely, it was so good. I love how this is skipping towards the last episode, because that is the most kind of cathartic way to beat Fisk. Is everyone, it's everyone together, resist, rebel, and how when he's screaming on top, it's paralleling the first season where Matt is looking up at Fisk feeling powerless. This time it's Fisk at the top feeling powerless. It's so impressive of a visual storytelling that he's in the courthouse, something that Matt loves with all his fucking heart, and it's ruined by Fisk trying to overthrow the ideas
system.
of order. Yeah, the legal system, the ideas of order, and just him screaming everything. I tried to do it for everyone and everything is so my God, it was so compelling.
Love the city, he says after
literally
kicking the snot out, like killing at least 2 teenagers.
It was more than 2. I mean, you see the hallway. He's what I love is how Bullseye and like Wilson Fisk, they are humans. They're not mutants. It's not confirmed to be, but they are some powerful people. Like him breaking that guy's back, he destroys the metal bar, the wood. It goes straight to the concrete wall. That fight scene was, I believe, to be reshot to be with like Daredevil and Jessica Jones fight. So it's paralleling one another, and I thought that was so creative. You could tell the visual storytelling that when Matt and all that come out to the middle to see Fisk, Karen's already kind of there. Obviously, they do the one-in shot of her taking down a guard, but you can tell that he was kind of supposed to just already be there. And then they added in this hallway fight scene. And I'm so glad, because the parallel is with these 2 characters. The whole title sequence, everything is juxtaposing their love for the city, but in different ways. It's peak.
Breaking it to the other side of it, what did you think of Matt this season?
I think I liked how first season it was mostly lawyer Matt, and he was trying to not bring the devil outside of him. But then this season, it needs to happen. It's like what I think of the show is that it's a boiling point that reaches ends of each individual character. With Karen, it's the fact that Bullseye is around. They killed their best friend. So she's reached her boiling point. Wilson Fisk is at wit's end with everyone in the government not doing what he says. He's a little boy. He's not getting what he wants. And then with Matt this season, it's the idea that going back to season 3 of the show, that he's at wit's end. He needs to kind of maybe not accept killing, but allow it to happen. And we see that with the character of Bullseye and One Good Deed, and how after he does that, it's like, well, I need you to do something for me. I don't care that he doesn't care about the consequences anymore. And that draws so powerful towards his unmasking. Because it's him finally accepting that there's not 2 identities. It is just one.
It's just me.
It is just him. And with Heather and her book paralleling what she's saying, talking about basically Matt word for word. Her words towards the trial were directly leading to Matt realizing, okay, hold on, I need to step up and be something more than just a vigilante.
Sorry, I wasn't giggling at
No, you're fine.
I'm giggling at Heather because of that dumbass moment in the final episode, but
okay. We can get into that a little bit.
We'll circle back. We'll circle back to that.
We'll circle back. And then like Matt alone, I'm so excited that Charlie Cox finally got to flex a little bit more of the lawyer stuff in the last 2 episodes.
Yes.
I'm glad that he came back slightly.
I think that for some reason he doesn't feel like the main character of the show in season 2. And it's weird. I think it's because of how big the cast is and how so many of the plot lines don't actually revolve around, because you've got like Matt and Karen, you've got Tony Soprano Jr. and BB Urich.
You've got Daniel and BB.
Daniel, thank you.
Yeah,
sorry.
Daniel. No, you're fine. Yeah, Daniel and BB and that Buck, that kind of triangle of espionage.
And then kind of like obviously then you've got the therapist story, you've got Kirsten McDuffie, you've got the corrupt cops like the task force,
Officer,
Kingpin. Yeah. So there's all these different storylines, and the original show has that too. But it always feels like the original show is still ultimately mostly from Matt's perspective. If it's not Matt, then it's the Kingpin, or like characters very close to Matt, like Karen and Foggy, and then obviously later on Bullseye. Whereas I feel like with this, there's just large swaths of each episode where Matt is not there and not really doing anything as far as we know. So it's difficult because I really like I agree with absolutely everything you said about his character this season. Really good, great performance by Charlie Cox. I think he's doing phenomenal work here because he's getting to show a lot more of a range. Like I like that because of the tone shift of the show for Disney Plus, he's getting to be more of a cocky shit. You know, I like that he's got the kind of wit of comic book Matt more. And as a you're a comic book reader, you know that like show Matt was always a bit more serious than comic Matt.
The best way to describe it is sometimes he felt like the CW version of his own character. That they love everything to do with the comic book, but they're not really going to show it. Matt is still Daredevil, but he's not as confident as he should be. And this season, he is confident as Matt. He's confident as Daredevil. And I love that because season 1, obviously, we barely had any Daredevil, but mostly Matthew Murdock. But even as Matthew Murdock, he was not that confident. He was still shying away in this version of himself that was kind of being way too harsh on himself.
Yeah, for sure.
And it felt bad in terms of writing because it didn't let him chance to breathe.
Yeah, I think that, I mean, actually, you know, I think that last bit is such a true statement about the whole show, which is that I don't think that maybe it's because obviously the first 3 seasons are like 13 episodes and these are like 9 and 8.
Yeah.
It needs to let the story breathe a little bit more because one of the strongest things about Daredevil, it's not like slice of lifey, but it's that you spend a lot of time with these characters and you get to know them very well. Like I think about the fact that like Ben Urich in the first season, like in the grand scheme of things, he's not that important of a character in the show, but you still spend 8 episodes with him, with very regular scenes with him where you get to understand his personality, his struggles, his interior life. They do a lot more of that in season 2, and I'm really glad. It's a massive step in the right direction. But I think that Matt as a character doesn't really get, like, he has basically moved from plot point to plot point. And on the lawyer scenes, I'm no lawyer. I'm not going to talk about the specifics of how law is presented in film. There are some moments, I think the finale is the most guilty of this, but there are some moments in both season 1 and season 2 where that would not be allowed in a courtroom. His behavior would not be allowed in a courtroom. And I know that it's fiction and it's stylized, but I just remember how in season 2 they made such a big deal about Frank Castle's outburst in the courtroom. You know, I did it because I liked it. You know, that is like a damning thing to the case. And Matt just said, guess what?
Yeah, I can agree to an extent, but because it's...
I suppose he does go to jail for it, so...
He does go to jail, and I can agree with the episodes and needing time to breathe. I did not mind it being 8 episodes. It did feel at least fine to me. I was okay with it. I would have obviously preferred 12. But this is clearly what's going to happen by the end than season 1, where it's a bit loose and you don't really know what's going to happen.
Agreed, for sure.
But at the same time, the characters don't do much. And it feels like what you're saying, it's like Matt barely does anything in the show. It's his own show. He doesn't do much except try and be the connective glue for everyone else. But the glue just doesn't stick. It just doesn't stick properly. And I'm much more interested, surprisingly, in Wilson Fisk as a character. I love both of their dynamics, but I care more about Fisk's storyline and Daniel and Buck because it feels more like a streamlined story. It feels like they knew what they were doing from the first episode. They introduced Daniel, they introduced Buck as the new person, these new kind of new Wesley types.
Yeah.
And it's really nice to see how they evolve, and obviously leading to Daniel's death.
Yes. Which hit so hard. It was that was phenomenally well done, because up until the very last moment, I couldn't tell if Daniel was going to get killed or not. It did not feel predictable. I actually very confidently thought that he wouldn't be, because I guess I naively thought that in the Disney Plus era of the show, they're not going to axe one of their young stars. He got, man. They got my mans.
So this is actually a confirmed thing that happened. Was originally the showrunners originally made Daniel live.
Okay.
He originally stayed alive, and Buck told him to run. And then in the finale, where they have that conversation, is Daniel taken care of? Buck lies to Fisk. And tells him that Daniel's dead when he isn't. But they realized that Buck's storyline and Daniel's storyline didn't have a kind of conclusion. So they VFX'd a gunshot, and they VFX his head being shot.
I see.
Basically, he was alive, and then they killed him.
They got his ass.
They were like, wow, so Daniel lives. Buck does have a bit of humanity. And then they went to edit it. They went to the VFX. They went, oh, but it doesn't really hit right, does it?
No.
Fuck it, let's kill him.
Yeah.
And he got everyone got the phone call of Daniel is dead, and everyone was like, what? This is no, this is so sad. But then 5 minutes later, they apparently phoned back and went, I'm okay with it. Personally, I would prefer it if Daniel lived. I don't care.
Interesting.
I understand the purpose of the story. It's tying up everything to do with the government Fisk, the Mayor Fisk storyline. But Daniel's character is so innocent. It reminds you of young Fisk very intentionally. I kind of wish that Buck did have that humanity in him and let Daniel live, because he was doing it to save BB and basically withstand the City Without Fear stuff.
Yeah. Something that wasn't clear to me is that, does Buck die in the finale?
No, so that's another thing that they didn't really give an answer to, and that's why they went back and made him kill Daniel. Because imagine he lets him live, and then he gets shot, and then nothing else happens. It's kind of a way for Buck to live with the demons and live with his mistakes. Because throughout the season, Daniel and Buck become kind of buddies. They become this kind of this group that I would love to see more of. But unfortunately, the Iron Fisk pulls down on you and goes no. It's such a shame, because Daniel and Buck were one of my favorite dynamics. Like the fact that both of them had this understanding of one another, even if they came from two separate worlds. I just, man. I was shocked. I was like, fuck.
It's a great it's a highlight for me of the season, in terms of just they did it. They pulled it off very well. It's a good bait and switch. I suppose, where would the logic... Okay, we'll circle back to therapist.
You know what I mean?
We can circle back to therapist.
Okay. What is another highlight for you? That's my question. Is it what other highlights? Do you have a top three of the three things you go, that was really excellent? Because we've kind of talked about it.
Wilson Bethel as Bullseye was the biggest highlight of the season for me. I have waited so long, because I watched the original show as it was airing as well. And I was invested in it from its production. I was on, I think I've got a picture somewhere of me, a screenshot of a fan forum posted, a fan cast of Bullseye after season 1 of the show came out. I didn't pick Wilson Bethel, but he does it incredibly. And obviously he is phenomenal in season 3 of Daredevil. It's a pitch perfect performance, but we don't really see Bullseye off the leash in terms of he's not Bullseye just yet. He pops up a couple times in the first season, but I didn't really feel like we got to again see this kind of fully fleshed out character. And in season 2, the grand design is probably my favorite episode of season 2, because it brings back the Catholic themes. It is the most well-directed episode of season 2, in my opinion. And also because Bulls and Bethel delivers an incredible performance, because I think that the first season forgets that Bullseye is not a psychopath. Like the way that they have presented their Bullseye is that he is psychopathic, like he has those tendencies. But in season 3, I mean, the ethics of it can be debated, but like season 3, they make it clear that he's got borderline personality disorder, and there was a multitude of things wrong with his brain. But a big thing is that he seeks approval from others, right? That's why he's so drawn to Fisk at first, is that he seeks this kind of paternal approval from Fisk. And I like that that's still an idea that they're playing with. He seeks approval from Vanessa. He seeks eternal. Now he's going to seek it from Matthew Lillard's character. Is it Charles?
Yes, it's Mr. Charles, but then and then it's like Mr. Richardson or Mr. Richard at the end of the season, implying that he doesn't really have he has multiple. My assumption with just to kind of quickly, Matthew, he didn't have enough in the show to really draw me in. His scenes were excellent. He was so funny. It's very clear that he's setting up the Dark Avengers, especially with Bullseye. But I have to agree. Bullseye was definitely much more in tune with, especially episode 4 with the diner scene. I'm one of the good guys. His entire mantra of one good deed does feel very Bullseye-y, even if it's not one-to-one. I loved how, because of the redemption in prison and how he escapes through it with the tooth, he's on this psychopathic weird shit right now. He's on some freaky little world. And I loved the visual cues of the blue. I thought that was really cool. I did wish we got that later on when he was saving the governor, because then that kind of in tune makes him like the idea of being more of a hero than a villain and saving people. I would have preferred it if we had that, because it was so clear in the earlier episodes, and then it just drops off.
I kind of wish that they stuck with, talk about stuff that they should have carried on from the original show. I kind of wish they stuck with black and white instead of blue. But that's also because I think that the one thing, this is such a nerdy, like nitpick, like I'm actually nitpick. But I don't like that the costume is purple. It should be black and white.
Yeah,
that's just a personal nitpick, because it's a really great. I like the costume a lot. I think it looks great. Why is it purple? Bullseye has almost never been purple, apart from
it's like
2 moments.
It is blue though. In the show, it is so clearly blue, but then in some light, and especially the set photos that came out, it looks a bit It reminds me a lot of how the MCU tries to change stuff and add things for no necessary, like there's no reason for it. And Bullseye's outfit was that. It feels so I hate that his gun straps on his chest, even though he doesn't really use a gun. It clearly has the knives.
Because they've pulled the outfit from Chip Zdarsky's run, but it's black and white in that run.
That's what I'm saying. It feels like every Marvel show doesn't adapt things one-to-one, and especially with people going into this season, and because Matt has this black and red suit, they think we're going to get Shadowland.
Yes.
My main thing was, it was very clear that we weren't, because the hand was in no marketing material. Nothing. So it's clearly just trying to show that he's darker than he's ever been before. It's just a visual motif of he's more depressed, he's more vigilante than ever. 2
other highlights for me is just actually will just be the direction, full stop, because I do think it's a lot better directed than season 1. I think season 1 has a couple moments where, because they've had to reshoot things or re-edit things or fix things in post, there's a couple moments where the show just is kind of ugly. Season 2 definitely still has that Disney Plus look to it, where it's this artificial sheen, and I do miss the kind of gritty noir-esque look of the original show. But I think that season 2 is a huge step in the right direction, because it's really, really, like, it looks really beautiful a lot of the time. And I think, especially, the grand design, there's some shots in the finale that I was really impressed by, obviously in the big sequence and the dual action sequence as well. And then I think a third one and this is like personal bias completely, is just Kristen Ritter being back as Jessica Jones. I think that there's one asterisk to that, which is I think it's great to see her back. And I like that the character is there. And she pops up the exact same way that she does in Bendis's Daredevil run, where he's just like, hey, Jess. And she's like,
it's
cool.
just, she's there. She's just there.
I did wonder how, because obviously some people watch Daredevil Born Again. It's weird to think about, but some people watch Daredevil Born Again that have never seen the original show. And it did make me think about how the hell do they think, like, do they know who she is? Because she's also not in the original Daredevil at all. She is just, her relationship with Matt comes from the Defenders, which a lot of people haven't seen, even people who've seen the original Netflix show. And it dawned on me that it is her first appearance in Daredevil is in the season, where she just kind of pops up and she like slags off Wilson Fisk, and it's like, do you know each other? But the actual actress and performance and character is great. The nerd in me is so happy to see her with Luke Cage and have, you know, their family set up together.
Yes.
And Kristen is doing a really good job. Like, it's that bit where they're like preparing for like the end of the final episode, and she just grabs a whiskey, you know?
Yeah, she does what she does best, and she drinks. I agree in terms of the character and the writing, everything is there, but I think you have to remember that a lot of people going to Born Again understand that this was originally a Netflix show. And by searching Daredevil Netflix, Jessica Jones is going to pop up.
Yes, for sure.
And because of the explosion of the MCU and comic book movies as a genre, a lot of people are quite more prepared going into projects, because they'll look at videos, they will pick up the occasional comic book that will explain majority of what's going on to them. They don't need to go into the deep lore of a character, but they can read the surface level stuff and understand it. So the character of Jessica Jones, as much as I can agree on a stance of she does just pop out of nowhere and people are going to go, who is she? She's a very simple character. She's not complex.
Private detective.
She's a private, exactly. You've seen it as time goes on. I mean, starting all the way back to noir and detective, you understand it by just a shot of them in an office. So Jessica Jones is fine. Now, say like Iron Fist. Now that would need some explaining. That would need some context into going in. What's this character like? Why the fuck is his hand yellow?
I personally can't wait. I don't know what you're talking about. Iron Fist, this is a tangent, but
you're fine.
I don't like the Netflix show. You know, I don't really think that there's much to love about it, but I also think that that's in part because they don't characterize Danny Rand well. Like, obviously in the show, he's this like trust fund entitled dipshit billionaire. And in the comics, he's like chillest guy ever, Danny Rand. Like, you know, the point is that Luke Cage is the one with a lot of anger and stress and feelings. And then Danny Rand's like, so.
It's flipped. It's flipped in the show.
It's flipped in the show. So I actually think that if they put in the effort to do Iron Fist properly, like, it could be quite compelling. Like, I'm looking forward to seeing it pop up next season, because obviously like Luke Cage pops up very briefly at the end of this one, and I was like, oh,
Mike Coulter comes back.
The dark times are over with the bad days of living through that like cancellation period was rough, because I got so attached to that specific iteration of the Marvel universe that when all those shows were getting axed, it was pretty emotionally rough. And then like it's cool to see that they're not like it's what you said right at the start about like the showrunners caring. It's like, it's not just that they care about Daredevil, but it's like they know that this is what people want to see. So they are going to like actually relatively naturally introduce this whole world, because obviously the idea is that Luke Cage was working for Mr. Charles in some capacity. That's done now. He's back with Jessica. They introduce Jessica as a kid, you know, and then it's Luke Cage's kid. And it's like, okay, great, awesome. And now if you're someone who's watching the show for the first time, you're like, okay, Matt's friend Jessica and her husband Luke Cage, who's got unbreakable skin.
It's nice domino effect of the wider implications of the city finally being over from Fisk's reign. It's so great to see people understanding that the Netflix shows want the best, but that doesn't mean they don't deserve redemption.
Yeah.
So Finn Jones is Iron Fist and Danny Rand I hope that season 3 and the storylines of Devil and Cellblock D, him becoming him. That's my question, kind of open-ended question of, do you see Danny Rand becoming Daredevil, or is he going to become Iron Fist and kind of act as the vigilante hero?
So this begs the question for what about what they want to do retroactively, because, or like not retroactively, sorry, going forward, because I have a feeling that we're getting elements of Devil's Reign mixed with Shadowland as the big overarching plot. So I do think, obviously, the Hand are being reintroduced in Spider-Man, Brand New Day.
Yeah.
I need to call Spider-Man Board again. Stuff. And so the Hand are being reintroduced. And I do think that they've built, like, it's quite seamless now that it's like, oh, New York needs a new mayor. What if it's mayor? I mean, it's kind of unsubtle in that they introduced Luke Cage literally in his mayoral.
Yes.
Like,
yeah, he's wearing the yellow shirt. He's literally wearing the yellow shirt that he wears, obviously, in the nightclub at the end of his own show. But
but in the comics,
very clear
when it becomes So I think we're getting elements of Devil's Reign in this kind of cross superhero like big event, and then elements of Shadowland in that. I think that actually, I don't know if Wilson Fisk will be the one that they're opposing. There could be a situation where Matt goes too dark, and it's this, superheroes against Matt kind of thing. Which, listen, like, Jessica Jones will wipe his ass, unfortunately, because one of those guys got super strength and it's not Matt Murdock. But obviously, we're getting Devil and Cellblock D a little bit. I think we'll get elements of Out, because we've already gotten elements of Out, and I think we're getting, like, they will do more of Bendis's run. A big, like, question mark that I keep wondering is about some of the, because obviously, like, BB Urich is now at the Bulletin.
Yeah, she's now at the Bulletin. She has Ben Urich's job.
Yeah.
She's going back to more traditional media, and I like that.
Yeah. And it's interesting to me about who's next, because Bullseye seemingly is not on the show anymore, or like he's got other shit that he's doing. Dark Avengers, Thunderbolts related, presumably. Then there's like Fisk is just in, I don't know, Havana hanging out.
Yeah.
So it makes me wonder who the next like antagonist is going to be, because I think that obviously there's a lot of good Daredevil antagonists that they've never brought to screen before. I know that she's kind of in Iron Fist season 2, but I do think Typhoid Mary would be a big one.
Oh, yeah, Typhoid Mary is barely her character in that.
Because I guess the idea was that they wanted to build up to her being like full on like Typhoid Mary. The big question mark I have is Elektra.
Yes. Now, that was going to snowball into my next question of, because we're doing, MCU does not like to adapt things one for one. That is not their style. Like you're saying, they're bringing up all these storylines into play. With Devil's Reign, it's very clear that Elektra is...
Yes.
She is Daredevil for some of the runtime. So, do we think that Elektra is coming back? Because I think if she was, it would be announced, it would be teased by the end of the season.
Yeah,
and that's where my answer is, I actually don't think we're going to get Elektra.
Do you think we're going to get Karen Page Daredevil?
I am so unsure, because what the ending is setting up is that there is no need for masks anymore. BB Urich reveals herself as the City of Out Fear. Daredevil finally reveals himself to be Matt Murdock. I think that we're going to get no one as Daredevil. I think the Daredevil mantle is going to be done. It's not like it's Chip Starsky's run where he's in jail as Daredevil. He is Matt Murdock. But I actually just don't see anyone taking up the mantle, and it's going to be left open of who's going to fill that void for the entire season. And then they realize they need Matt back. And they're either going to escape, he's going to escape out of prison, or they're going to get him off with, he may not be Daredevil. How can he do that? He's blind. He's gonna wear the sweater to court. He's gonna wear the sweater that says, "I'm not Daredevil" to court, and it's gonna be fine. I think it also lingers the question of, where was Spider-Man during that last episode? Obviously, real life legal ramifications. You cannot have him in the show without some dumb negotiation. But in the comics, he would be there in a fucking heartbeat. He would be there at the front line with so many other vigilantes. But in this, radio silent.
What I'm choosing to accept is that Peter Parker is a bum He's he's not the hero of New York. He's just always doing some other shit. Like he's just no, I think I agree. I think that if we were getting Elektra back, we would have by now, because I think that they've definitely leaned more into this idea that Karen is Matt's true love. And I know that obviously it's a bit of I think it's funny because the comics, I think it's a bit of a actually I would say that it's the Batman Catwoman situation where Elektra is permanently Matt's on and off again love. Like, Matt sleeps with many people, Spider-Man included, but Elektra is like his love in life.
They are endgame.
Yeah.
That literally, I mean, Chip Zdarsky's run really proves that they are endgame for one another. So
for sure.
if we were getting that, we would have seen that this season.
Yeah, for sure. And obviously now you've got a bunch of different street level heroes. That you've got Moon Knight, Luke Cage,
Moon Knight's not. Sorry to break your heart, but Moon Knight is not going to happen.
Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Punisher. Like we've got a bunch of different street level heroes. So I know that Marvel does love a crossover. I do think we'll get one eventually that is the kind of follow up on that, and it will be very fun to see Jessica Jones interact with John Bernthal as the Punisher. But because Punisher, I suppose, isn't in Defenders, and he was not seen as part of that team.
No, but on Disney Plus, he's under the title of Defenders.
Yeah, exactly.
Like how Echo is. Yeah. So it's very clear that they're going to lump them all together.
I forgot about Echo.
Yeah, exactly. You forget about Echo. We talked about it literally like 20 minutes ago, and you already forgot about it. That's how forgettable it is. But I'm
sorry, David Mack.
Genuinely, in terms of villains for season 3, I think it's very clear that Officer Powell is going to be kind of an antagonist. Cole is going to be kind of a friend because they're all in the same prison. He's going to go to Gen Pop. It's what happens in D. It happens in the other.
It's not like D,
It's going to happen.
Yeah.
So my hope is that the antagonist is kind of internalized. So Shadow can feel more worthwhile. Because if he just randomly becomes evil, it's going to be kind of meh. But if he's beating himself up, and I love the detail of when he goes into prison and he locks the door, it looks exactly like a confessions booth.
Yes,
he's out. It's very clear, and the showrunner both the showrunners and even Brad Winderbaum, who oversees Marvel TV, has said this is going back to the basics. We're going back to street heroes.
Yeah,
we're just going to get Defenders season 3.
Yeah,
it's shaping into it, and I'm okay with it.
2.
Defenders 2.
Yeah, Defenders 2. So good they made a sequel. And we will still have Sigourney Weaver as the head of the Japanese Ninja Association.
Yeah, well, I mean, her head does get chopped off, so
don't worry about it.
Yeah, it doesn't count. If they could bring out Typhoid Mary, yeah. But let's talk about the lowlights of this season. Your main one that you've brought up is Heather and her ongoing issues with Muse.
It's just such a nothing character, unfortunately. I think that the actress is really trying to make her compelling. I have never been. I remember when Charles Soule's run is coming out. I have never been as much of a Muse fan as so many people online seem to be. So many people online find this character super, super fascinating, and I think that he's a pretty good villain. It's a pretty solid villain, but I think that season 1 ultimately used him kind of like he needed to be used, which is a built-up threat for a 3 or 4 episode story arc. Like, I don't think he's like main villain season material. And the fact that we're getting another Muse and that her arc is just, I mean, I think it's satisfying. Obviously, the kind of devolution into the supervillain, like obviously a long-term arc like that is satisfying, and the actress is doing a good job. I think the shot where she puts on the Muse mask and sees herself in the mirror is corny as shit.
I disagree there, but fair enough.
I didn't like it. I think her character just, for me in season 2, was such a lightning fast escalation. It's like season 1, she's Matt's girlfriend, she's a therapist, she's got some weird things, but she's very principled. And then season 2, she's about to start chopping guys up. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, that's fair. I don't inherently agree or disagree with it. I quite liked the way that Heather evolved. It's better than just leaving her to be this legal ramification and kind of just misguided character ever becomes her own identity. And I like how she takes back from what Muse has done to her, even if it's in some really bad ways.
Yeah.
I quite like the idea of Muse being this B-tier villain. I don't want her to be the main antagonist of season 3. But I don't hate the fact that she's still sticking around, because I think the actress could shine a lot more as the Muse, not really Helen being possessed by him, but just being as Muse. I don't hate it. I'm okay with it. I need to see this before I judge. As much as I can go, I don't like this idea. I don't like what they're doing.
Sure, you want to
I need to see where it goes.
Yeah, for sure.
And especially in terms of the greater villains of who we're going to get, I need to see what they do before I judge.
It does make me wonder if we are going back to these kind of, like, if there's an overarching plot, but then we are going to get these smaller villains along the way. Are we going to get Mistress Bullseye? Like, what's happening?
That was my kind of thought: is, are we going to get Black Tarantula? Like, are we going to get Nuke in some way? Is Officer Powell going to become Nuke?
We had Nuke.
Did we? Is it Punisher?
He's in Jessica Jones season 1.
Where is he? Is he the love interest of Trish?
Yeah.
Oh my god, that's so forgettable.
Yeah, that's Nuke. The guy who does a bunch of steroids. That's Nuke. Yeah.
Oh my god, that's how. Yeah. Okay. Maybe do a new Nuke. Maybe do a new Nuke with Officer Powell, because his like power of Officer Powell would be even cooler if he just turns into some kind of Nuke type.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a shame. I completely forgot about that, because why does? Oh, dude, because I was so thinking, wow, we got Nuke. Like, is Al going to come back? Is it going to be the son of Lee?
Yeah.
Is Mr. Fear going to be here? But no.
I do think they could do the Owl. They could bring that back. They built in that element in the first season. I will also say that, like, Mr. Fear has had like a million different identities. So that was my first thought about what villain Powell could become. Was just that, but I suppose that is less of a one-to-one.
My thing is with Officer Powell is that he doesn't seem capable enough to be Mr. Fear. He seems more in terms of a Nuke, a Frank Castle wannabe kind of character. Yeah. And that, to modern audiences, that is what Nuke is going to be.
Yeah, sure.
So, sure.
I mean,
it's fine.
There's Gladiator. He was in season.
He's dead.
1 and 2.
He's dead. In season 3, they kill him. Exactly. I was thinking of Gladiator, but they killed him. Melvin Potter is dead in season 3. Yeah. It's a shame. Melvin Potter, I think, was one of my favorite side characters from the Netflix show. It was great.
They can bring back, what's his face, Turk.
Turk? Yeah, I wouldn't hate Turk. I would love that Turk and Matt kind of have a buddy, because if he knows he's, like, they go back, they go way back.
Yeah. Here's a question for you. Foggy coming back, yay or nay?
Okay. Like, the context of Foggy coming back is they tested the waters with episode 5 and showing him back in season 1 with the long hair and Wesley.
Yeah.
I actually think we're not gonna get him.
Really?
I don't think we're gonna go to hell.
Yeah.
I don't think he's gonna go back and get him, because obviously the entire season Matt forgives Bullseye in a way. Like, obviously the whole conversation with Foggy is, obviously, it kind of teaches Matt that there is a thing for second chances and there is a thing for redemption, and in turn that's what he spreads to Frank Castle in season 2 in probably the best scene of the entire season 2. But because it's Foggy essentially telling Matt to forgive and telling Matt to let it go in some way, I actually think the death will be accepted. He'll definitely maybe see him as a hallucination, because he might be going insane, but I don't think he's going to hell for him.
I wasn't even meaning, because so in Ed Brubaker and Michael Lark's Daredevil run, which they're doing elements of with Cellblock D, he's like, it's revealed that Foggy's like not dead, like he's been his death kind of thing. So I was thinking more along that lines. Less the actual going to hell, because I didn't really reckon that we would be doing that. I
But
think
if they're
that
doing
would be
Shadowlands,
leaping the shark.
I don't know. I think there's been worse things. I think, I mean, literally,
Iron Fist.
Iron Fist. No, I don't. I don't know. I'm
Yeah.
happy with the way that it is. I'm happy that Foggy is gone because it teaches new characters to step up and be best parts of the show. Because if Foggy was still around, it would be amazing, but I think it would feel more stale. Like with how people feel about Fisk and people feel about other characters. Like, I am a little tired of Karen. I'm a little tired of her. I want some difference. And that's what I was excited for with Born Again, because we've got new characters that we can grow attachment to, like Daniel and like Buck. The rest I could take or leave.
It's funny because to me, Foggy is the heart of the original show. And I think that that's something that Born Again season 1 and 2 are missing.
Yeah.
Is that Matt and Foggy's friendship is the heart of the show. So I do think that Born Again is category. You know how I mentioned at the start, like those problems are built into the show. I think that the show is always going to be categorically weaker for not having Foggy Nelson because of the way that, like, I would argue, I remember saying to my mother is a big fan of these shows, and she's watched Jessica Jones like 4 times. And I had said to her before, like, a big thing is that I just feel like no one really thought of it that way because he's not a superhero, but I think that he is as important to the original Daredevil as Charlie Cox and as Vincent D'Onofrio. So not having Foggy there is a huge waste, and it kills a lot of the heart of that show. So but I don't think bringing it back would do anything because that boat has already sailed. They shouldn't have killed him in the first place.
That's fair. Yeah.
Is my issue, because I think you can introduce other characters because first off, I think that a show should not be afraid to just have characters just leave for a while and come back and stuff like that. Like, they don't have to be. That's something that The Pit does that I like, is that characters don't die, they just leave. But I also think that, like, you could introduce, like, you could have had characters like Cherry and Kirsten and still had Foggy. Like, you didn't have to replace him or like try and get rid of him. You can have those new characters along with our old ones. You just don't need to have Foggy be in every episode, or you don't need to have, or like something like that. But I do think that In Fairness, Born Again's cast is pretty big as is. So
it is. It is one of those casts that I'm glad with season 3 we're returning to the status quo. I mean, the showrunners have said that they're going back to Frank Miller's vibes and people. Yeah. They've explicitly said that to press. So it's not like it's up in the air. That's what they're telling you. So I think I agree with the stance of you could bring back characters and it would be okay. Yeah. But I think not a lot of people would. Yeah. I think some people would watch the show and go, okay, so it's the exact same. Yeah. And they did a big swing, and it kind of hit. Yeah. It works in some ways, and it works in others. It just doesn't at all. Like, Kirsten is fine. Yeah. But it's no Foggy.
I mean, I think that does, like, I have to admit my biases and check them at the door a little bit, because I will admit that I waited 5 years or however. Season 1 came out last year, right? I waited 5 years for more of Daredevil. I did not wait for something different. I waited for season 4 of Daredevil. Born Again is not season 4 of Daredevil.
That's fair.
It's not even season 5 of Daredevil. It's a different show. It's trying to do something different. I think that obviously people are in 2 minds about it. And I think that there was no going to be appeasing both. And by trying to appease both, season 1 was mixed results. But season 2 is a lot stronger because it has such a clear identity and vision. And now the show knows what it wants to be.
Exactly.
And I like that show. I do like that show. I am going to keep watching that show. I think some of it is exceptional and none of it is terrible. No, there was nothing in season 2 that I think is really bad. Whereas in season 1, there are several things I thought were really bad. But it's not more of Daredevil. And what I wanted for the longest time was just to continue that show, just to continue. Like, I literally just was hoping, I guess, that the next episode would be like, hey, 6 months have passed, Nelson, Murdoch, and Page are doing great, and Bullseye is throwing children off of babies, Off of buildings, sorry.
Children off of babies. Picks up a child off a baby and throws it. That's so valid.
Yeah.
I can get that. I think for me, because of the new leadership, I was not going in going, okay, this is going to be the exact same. It was clear by the marketing and the fact they have a new intro that has the same song. But it's Born Again, even though they don't do anything to do with Born Again. It's just
well, it's already adapted Born Again, isn't it?
Yes, they do. Yeah. Is there any other things, not necessarily Daredevil stuff, but is there anything that you would love from the comics to be in season 3? Because we're going to get a year's time jump, which means that it's going to give breathing room for new relationships. I would love personally Jessica Jones and Cherry to work alongside one another to kind of take that place. That would be amazing from a show standpoint. Is there anything?
I think that a big one for me is just we need other antagonists. I think that season 3 has the interesting chance to not be about Bullseye or Kingpin. And it sucks because I do wish that we got a season which it was just Bullseye was the main villain. But I understand that even in the comics, he's not usually the main antagonist. He is usually the kind of henchman or hired gun or something like that. But I think we need a new villain that's not the Hand and that's not Kingpin or Bullseye. And we need a new antagonistic force, just a character we've not seen before. That is a Daredevil villain, mind you. I can hear the monkey's paw curling behind me because I can hear the thing of okay, Magneto, but
that would be really funny because he would just try and throw the devil sticks. He just fucking just gets them.
I think we need more compelling antagonists and we need more villains. Obviously, I understand that we're in a prison, so that limits some things, but it does present the exciting opportunity for things.
Do you think then we're getting Hammerhead or Tombstone? Because they are kind of Daredevil villains. They are.
Yeah, Tombstone's in Brand New Day, isn't he?
Yes, he is. That's what I'm getting at. It's do you think that he could be the connective tissue?
Oh, that's a tough one because I worry that it would retread. I worry that another crime boss villain would be retreading familiar territory. I think part of what they need to do is to move away, have a villain that is not something we've seen before in terms of a big reason why Typhoid Mary was such a breath of fresh air when she first pops up is that it's Anna Senti's run, so it's just after Frank Miller's gone off the book. And she's not a crime boss and she's not a gangster and not like that. She is a purely chaotic force that Matt is finding it hard to categorize, and he's also sleeping with her at the same time because he's Matt Murdock.
He's got game.
Yeah, so I do think that we need something like that where it's just a really breath of fresh air, especially if we are building to Matt's mental state crumbling in order to do Shadowland. I don't like Shadowland as a story. I want to make that abundantly clear. I don't think Daredevil has a bad run, but that is the closest that he gets. That and the recent Saladin Ahmed run that just finished, which was unfortunately very underwhelming as well.
It was okay. I don't think there was anything that is excellence. I don't think it'll be looked back upon. It'll be okay, it was just another run. Yeah,
it was the run after Zdarsky's.
Exactly.
I think that that's some big things. I also think, I think this is more of a general hope for if they are doing street level stuff in the MCU. I think that the last maybe 5 years or so of superhero media have had one huge problem that no one is really talking. I've seen some chatter about, but I feel like not a lot of people talk about, which is the disappearance of the civilian cast and the alter ego. So obviously we talked about Matt accepting that he is one person, right? But now Karen Page can kick people's ass. Characters like Kirsten and Cherry and stuff. Cherry's a cop and Kirsten, can handle stuff in the courtroom. I think it's really important to have a civilian cast. I think it's really important to have civilian supporting characters because, Karen is with Jessica Jones and Daredevil beating the shit out of people. And I think that I don't mind that so much. I think it's a bit weird, but because obviously her arc in the original show leads to her being more of a journalist Ben Urich type.
Yeah.
But, I think that obviously, I think that is important and I hope we don't lose track of it because, obviously it's one of the main things that makes street level is the human element. So that's the thing I hope they don't lose track of.
No, that is actually such a good point, because I fully agree on the stance of, if everyone is powerful and on the equal level, there are no stakes. Yeah. That is why it felt really weird going into season 2, and Karen was not just as important as Matt, but felt like she took the charge more. And I guess you could say it was empowering the public and empowering the idea that anyone can stand up to injustice.
Yes, yeah, exactly.
But in this term and in this show, you have people who are blind and can do backflips. So it's a little, not far-fetched, but it's a little out there for me personally to accept the idea that there are people on the same level as Jessica Jones.
Yeah.
And I would have preferred it, and I think it gives a level of, or not power scaling, because power scaling is a whole other deal, but a sense of difference. In terms of characters. And I agree. I think a civilian cast brings humanity towards those that reach into the supernatural, like super strength or you know, heightened senses. So I think with season 3 though, I think we're definitely going to get that in terms of prisoners. Some of them are going to be powered and some of them are going to be not.
I mean, we'll see how Punisher, One Last Kill, and Spider-Man go. But I have a sinking suspicion that Mr. Frank Castle is going to be writing that cell block alongside Matt Murdock. It seems like he's more likely than Bullseye or Kingpin or Jessica Jones or Luke Cage. Maybe Iron Fist is in jail. Maybe his ass is in jail.
That would be really cool.
So funny.
That would be really cool, because I think if the Defenders kind of met in jail, it would kind of give that camaraderie of, oh man, we were in Gem Pop together. I think that'd be they'd dap hands. That'd be really cool. Now, this is a personal question to you, because you are a big Radiohead fan. Were you glad that they continued the tradition of doing a Radiohead song at the end of the season?
Yes. I always have interesting thoughts about licensed music, because I think that like a good needle drop is really good, but a bad needle drop takes you out of the story. So you have to be very picky with it. It worked very well in the finale. I think Pyramid Song was an excellent choice, and I think that it was done well in terms of it is this kind of montagey kind of conclusion to everything. So I really liked it. Obviously last season they also used a Radiohead song. And you know what? If they do it every season, then I'm looking at the writers and I'm going, I know what you are. But I think it works. I can't, because I remember that the original Daredevil had like needle drops, but I just don't remember it having a ton. So I appreciate that they've been relatively restrained this season as well.
Yeah, I definitely agree. The original show had needle drops that were not really licensed music, and they were not popular licensed music. This time, they're very clearly going with Radiohead. Obviously, they're doing the later stuff in terms of Kid A, Amnesiac. What song do you want? Petition a song for season 3's ending. Videotape. Okay.
Because I think that the religious imagery helps. Like obviously, you know, the kind of looking back at life thing. But I also think if we're ending season 3, you know, if our hypothetical season 3 is Matt in a really terrible state of mind, that would also be a good song to pick, because it's very obviously sour and emotionally devastating. I'm always going to big up A Moon-Shaped Pool. So I do think that I would ascend off the floor if they played Dex Dark, but I don't think they're going to. And also, I suppose something else off of Moon-Shaped Pool could work, like Burn the Witch or Daydreaming.
Daydreaming, I see.
Yeah.
Daydreaming, I see bigly. I also see All I Need or Jigsaw's Falling Into Place. That is 2 songs that I think would work no matter what you do, because they are just like fundamentally good songs. Especially Jigsaw, Falling Into Place.
Yeah.
That entire story of what the song is trying to suggest. Matt as a character, if he becomes this shadow type being, if he becomes something that's going beyond him, it's like a greater ascension of understanding. The jigsaws are falling into place. I think that'd be really cool. But they might go back. They might go back to the early days, and they might do Creep. They might do Creep randomly. They might just
No, they already used it in Guardians of the Galaxy.
True, they did, but it doesn't mean they can't do it again.
I actually think that, I mean, you talk about a show with great needle drops. Luke Cage would always.
Luke Cage had some Yeah.
Always knocked out the park with the needle drops. Sick
Yeah.
as hell.
The connection of Wu-Tang Clan was so cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially when we had the Heroes for Hire episode, and it
Which is the
plays a
best
Wu-Tang.
episode of either show, to be honest.
Yeah, I agree. I think that needle drop was fucking incredible going through
Okay.
the weed house.
It may be not the best episode of Luke Cage, but it is definitely one of the best episodes of Luke
Yes,
Cage.
definitely.
And it is easily the best Iron Fist episode.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember like Iron Fist episodes. I think season 2 definitely was improvement, but it's such a tarnish to the show. It's such a tarnish to the character of Danny Rand. It's crazy.
Yeah, I actually think that they should play Let Down because it's really underrated.
Yeah, it's a TikTok song though. Don't like it.
Yeah, LARP. I think that these characters really, as weird as it is to think about, because obviously Punisher's in the next film, and I'm excited for him to be in the next film. I think Bernthal's going to kill it, and I'm glad he's getting a big paycheck. I think that these characters really thrive in TV because TV is closer to how comics are structured. And I think that these characters thrive when we're with them for a long time, when we spend time with them, when we get emotional connections with them. So what I will say is that I know that Daredevil Born Again, because of financial reasons, is currently the vehicle that they are using to be the street level show. But I would say that I would hope that Daredevil is still a Daredevil show, and that there can be other shows. We can, guys.
Yeah,
you gave us Echo and WandaVision. You can give us Heroes for Hire or The Pulse or Alias or something like that. Like you are allowed to have these characters have their own show. I know that the Punisher special is testing the waters, and the movie is testing the waters for if people want a Punisher show again.
Yeah.
Because funnily enough, the Punisher show is actually apparently the second most consistent ratings wise of the Netflix shows, in terms of like it never hits like if Jessica Jones had a huge first season, then a pretty successful second, it had a very not successful third because just not a lot of people watched it.
I watched it. It was okay. It was all right.
It's okay. I don't hate any season of Jessica, but it's definitely the weakest one. The Punisher, like a lot of people watch, like a pretty good amount of people watch season 1, and a pretty good amount of people watch season 2. So
yeah, that's fair.
I do think that he's probably will be the one that's the most likely. Also, because John Bernthal's
popular. He is popular, and now that leads to the question of: is there any other special presentations, MCU, or we can widen it out to the DC universe that you would love to see? A special presentation hour. The Punisher is 44 minutes.
Yeah.
So it's not an hour, but is there something that you just wish that we could dive deep into the world of?
For Marvel, I've got a couple picks that I've always said that they should do. Silver Surfer, off the back of Fantastic Four, would be great. I think Julia Garner's Silver Surfer is one of the highlights of that movie for me. I'm going to pull the action figure.
There you go.
Screen.
Yeah.
Definitely one of the highlights of that movie for me, and I would love to see more of that. And obviously, the Silver Surfer character is really interesting.
Yeah.
I would say that another one that I would love is like Man Thing, or like a Creatures by Night kind of thing. I know we had Werewolf by Night.
I liked it a lot.
And I really enjoyed it. And Garcia Bonnell should show up in one of these again because I like
Midnight Suns. It kind of leads all towards Midnight Suns, though.
If that is ever
happens, yeah.
So definitely like something like that, like Man Thing would be good. And then I also, in terms of like more like street level stuff, I think it would be really cool if, I guess this isn't really street level, but
it's fine. Yeah.
I have always thought that there's interesting stuff that you can do with some of the Spycraft stuff around the Captain America characters.
Oh yeah.
I guess this is a monkey's paw about Captain America, but like, Winter Soldier thing would have been nice, or I guess White Widow, like something like that would have been really cool. I guess they're now in the Thunderbolts, so they don't need to, but something on that would be pretty cool, I think. But the two concrete ones are like Silver Surfer, Man Thing. In terms of DC, I feel like James Gunn's DC is already taking bold swings, so I feel like they don't feel the need to
That's
test
fair.
the waters too much.
Mm.
But I think if we're talking bold swings, Animal Man has to be the one that I'm putting up there
Read my mind, but
because,
yeah.
yeah, because I think
Mm.
that that's something where if you deliver a really great Animal Man pilot episode, people will watch the show because
True.
it would work really well. And James Gunn thrives at obscure characters and weird
Yeah.
characters that are lovable and with a dark undercurrent. So I do think he would be, even if he wasn't directing it, he would understand what that material would need.
Oh, yeah.
Um,
Mhm. Depends on the
Also,
run they go with, though. It depends if they go with
yes,
Grant Morrison or the
Jeff Lemire,
2011.
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, that's a really good pick. I mean,
yeah,
Animal Man is one of those characters that would really thrive on unlimited runtime because you can
yeah,
mess with an audience more.
yeah, for
There's
sure.
less leeway than
Yeah,
compared to a show
yeah,
which,
yeah,
like, if we're going back to Daredevil, was originally
yeah,
going to be 12 episodes, then
yeah,
went to 9, now on 8. If
yeah,
it's a special presentation, they have the limited runtime
yeah,
to flex its creativity. And
yeah,
that's what I like about Werewolf by Night, and that's what I hope Daredevil works in the future. It
yeah.
kind of
Tries
pushes
to have
the
stuff.
creativity.
Yeah,
But Punisher, I think, is just simple in nature. I think with the
yeah,
trailer that we saw, it
yeah.
was him and his family. So
Also, Iron Fist or Heroes for Hire would be a fun little
I think if we did get Elektra, I would like a special presentation on that.
show. Yeah, I mean,
Just
it
just
could
to
adapt Electro Assassin, couldn't it? So
that's what I'm saying. I think if we just did
yeah.
that, and like in terms of wider MCU characters, I think Sentry would fucking thrive on a special
Oh
presentation
yeah,
if they could go R-rated, if they could go
yeah.
maybe his time just kind of between the new Avengers
Mhm.
and stuff like that. Because I think
But
with Doomsday and the wider implication of the MCU, we
yeah,
have so many characters now.
yeah.
It is the time to let these characters be individuals.
And some of those are definitely not coming back after Secret Wars.
Oh,
So
yeah, I think Secret Wars is a reset. Doomsday is going to be the punch in the gut, and
yeah,
then Secret Wars is going to be the kick in the nuts.
yeah.
Yeah,
Harry Styles, Star Fox, we won't miss you.
yeah. I would love an
Yeah.
Incredible Hulk.
Ooh,
I
yeah,
would love that.
that
Maybe
would be
I didn't
awesome.
want. Thing is, because Brand New Day, he's coming back. He might be Grey
Yeah,
Hulk. He might be Savage Hulk.
yeah,
I would have loved a special presentation during the blip where he
yeah,
does kind of freak out. He maybe becomes
yeah.
Maestro. Maybe becomes Grey Hulk. You know what I
I
mean? Like,
mean,
yeah.
I'm one of the. I will say I'm a bit of a freak, and my favorite Hulk run is Immortal Hulk. And I think that if you're
No,
using a special
that's an amazing run.
presentation, you test the
Yeah.
waters and you have him look into the camera and says,
Mhm.
say the thing at
Yeah.
the end of Immortal Hulk issue 1, and you watch how
Yeah.
that goes.
I actually think, Mark Ruffalo could bring an amazing performance. I mean,
Sure.
no matter what he's in,
Yeah.
he's very good, except from Poor Things. He was okay in that.
He's
Um,
yeah, that was
he
not
was
his finest hour.
that was not his finest, but things like Spotlight,
Yeah,
that is a prime example of he can
yeah.
flex his creative muscles. And with the
Mhm.
Hulk, he's not really done that because
Yeah.
the typecast of I'm really calm when I'm Bruce Banner,
Yeah,
and then I'm really buff and strong.
yeah.
If you do a Mortal Hulk
You've
and
got
you
more
tap
range.
into
Yeah,
yeah, you could really tap into the psyche of Bruce Banner, and
yeah,
you could do it how like Moon Knight did it,
yeah,
and it be either in his head or it's not in his head.
yeah.
Plastic Man and DC,
Plastic
uh,
Man.
I think we're clearly getting the terrifics.
Yeah,
Um, I would love to see him with Kite Man. I like the Brave and the Bold episode. That I would love to just be adapted because of how silly it is.
Psycho Pirate special at DC.
Psycho Pirate? Okay, yeah.
I can keep going.
No,
Condiment
that's fair.
King,
Kill
Clockwork
him off?
Man, Killer. You read my mind.
Right, yeah,
That's
kill
my
him
guy
off.
right there. That's my guy right
Oh,
there.
that would be so cool.
Yeah,
I'm trying to think of, like, other presentations, but, like, Silver Surfer would be amazing. I would love
yeah,
to see maybe one and this is a real stretch, but one on each individual member of the Fantastic Four in the
yeah.
new
That would have
world.
been very cool. Yeah,
That would have been awesome, but it's
yeah,
clearly too late as he's arriving. They're arriving
yeah,
to the new Avengers with a Z.
yeah,
What I loved about Fantastic Four Steps is that
yeah,
they had individual cultures and
yeah,
communities, and if
yeah.
we took more time with it, oh, it would have been so sad. I'm so worried for Doomsday.
It's going to be a movie that I will see in a theater.
That's
And
fair.
that's the only thing I know about it. I don't trust that it will not be messy. I don't trust that it will be compelling. I like the post-credit scene of Thunderbolts. I think it's fun. But I enjoyed Thunderbolts in general. And I just hope that, listen, I don't think it's going to be as good as Endgame, but if it's pretty decent, entertaining schlock, then that's something at least.
How do you feel about the Infinity Vision there? Do you know what that is?
I saw about it, and I think that it's silly because they're just upset that Dune is getting the IMAX screens. So, and I don't know if like is that something that's going to come over here to the UK? Like I don't know.
The way that Infinity Vision is working right now is they're going to re-release Endgame in the US and test the waters with it being an IMAX competitor.
Yeah.
And because it's basically Infinity Vision, it's mostly going to be for films that run alongside Disney and under their banner. They're testing it with Endgame in the US. Nothing's really been revealed about it. They just said, hey, we're going to do a new screening because Dune took all of our shit.
Yeah.
They stole my money. So that's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm so half and half on it because if it gives a chance to allow more movies to get an IMAX-like screening, sure. But it's the Mickey Mouse.
Yes.
It's the big dog being Man of Tomorrow being not a sequel to Superman, but just a crossover movie. So, I feel like it's gonna get a different title.
Yeah.
The closer it comes out, I think it's definitely just gonna be Justice League.
What, Man of Tomorrow? I don't think so because I don't think it's a Justice League movie. I think it is just. I think it's a Lex Luthor movie, and that's why it's not called Superman 2.
Yeah, but the way that the casting is, they added 2 more people to the cast. They casted Matthew Allard, and they added someone else. It's very clear that they're doing a big tie-in event.
Yeah, I suppose.
So why not? I don't think there would be necessarily like just Justice League, but it'd be some form of big title bracket Man of Tomorrow. To
bet you a $5 on it. I think. I think he's sticking to it. I think he's sticking.
You think he's just going to stick to Man of Tomorrow?
Because I think that the big castings are ultimately for characters that won't be big characters. Like I know people are upset that Adria Arjona is not playing Wonder Woman.
I don't hate that. I think Paradise Lost, we're getting a TV show. So
I'll believe that when I see it. That one has had so little update on it. I don't know why Wonder Woman seems to be the one he's having the hardest time to figure out, but you know.
I mean, talk about Batman alone. If we're going to talk about the big 3, Wonder Woman has nothing, but Batman is clearly deliberately not being talked about, deliberately not being shown off to anyone because they want Robert Pattinson to have his day.
Yeah.
And I'm fine with that. I mean, we just got obviously snow tires, we got the photos, everyone's excited.
The movie exists.
The movie does exist. I don't think we're going to get it in winter, though. I don't think Batman Part 2 is going to be particularly all set in winter. It's going to be a segment of the film.
I think it's going to all be set in winter, but I think that hopefully we just get the movie.
That's fair. But with I talked about this last time, but with the casting of Sebastian Stan and Scarlett Johansson as Glinda and Harvey,
you think
we're going to get Holiday. They're doing a Long Halloween again. They're doing the Holiday Killer. It's so clear to me that this is going to be a segment of the film set in winter.
And so one could hope that they don't just do Long Halloween again, but we'll see.
Well, then what do you expect when you bring in Harvey Dent and Glinda, especially the fact you bring in Glinda?
Well, no, I will admit that the fact that Glinda's there, it means they are taking inspiration from Long Halloween. There's no way about it. Plus the fact that that Charles Dance is playing Harvey Dent's dad. But
exactly,
I'm hoping that it's not a situation where Two-Face is the main villain right at the end again. I'm hoping that he doesn't become Two-Face in this movie.
That's fair.
Next time, you've heard me for years now say that I wish it was a superpowered villain for the Batman Part 2, but
no,
I can abandon pipe dreams.
That's sure. Okay. Yeah, the dreams are not going to happen. Especially the fact that it's the universe is called the Batman Crime Saga universe.
Yes.
What does the Long Halloween have entirely to do with crime
saga?
It's unfortunately they're stacking up. The jigsaw pieces are showing the story. Maybe we will get a Mr. Freeze or something out there.
It's eyes to read you, Batman.
Exactly. I don't think we are, though. I think we're simply just going to get the Long Halloween, but better than the Dark Knight ever did it. I think we're going to get a more comic accurate version of it. We have no Rachel. It's Glinda. You know what I mean? That alone shows trust in the story, because they're not going to go, well, Rachel's popular in that movie and that adapts to Long Halloween, so let's bring her back. No, we're doing the story. And maybe we'll do Dark Victory in the same way. Maybe it will adapt both of those stories and we can get Robin.
I will forfeit a superpowered villain if we get Robin. I'll allow it. So.
Yeah, but if we get Robin in this one, Robin in the DCU will probably not be as popular, because everyone loves Robert Pattinson and everyone will love whatever they do. If they do Dick Grayson, if they do Tim Drake, which I don't think will be as popular. So as much as Dark Victory seems to be the case, it's just Long Halloween.